You are listening to episode 34 of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. In this episode, I'm going to share some of our favorite date nights, and then I'm doing my very first Q&A with my husband. Yes, I finally talked him into it. We took questions over on Instagram, and we had a lot of fun answering them. My name is Lisa, mom of 6 and creator of the blog and YouTube channel Farmhouse on Boone. Join me as I share with you my love for creating a handmade home from scratch cooking and a little mom and entrepreneur life along the way. Luke and I have been going on a date night every week now for probably a year, and we love it, and I love every single dime invested in it. Now, what brought this up is Luke and I have actually had our best string of date nights since quarantining has started, which is really weird, and it's not at all what I expected. I thought for sure that our date nights were going to be completely over and ruined until this whole thing is over and passes. But that's not the case, because we have in our area a winery, and they had a sign out that they were offering carry out food, and we decided to try it. And when we got up there, we discovered that nobody else was coming for carry out food. We talked to the owner, and he said that nobody else was coming and it'd be fine if we wanted to walk around and enjoy our food there because there was nobody else. And that was true. We ended up not seeing anybody else there. So the past 3 weeks, we have been getting food at this winery, walking up and down vineyards, exploring this amazingly beautiful property all by ourselves, just chatting. Obviously, we bring Daniel with us, and he mostly just sleeps in the wrap, and taking in gorgeous views, gorgeous spring nights all 3 times. Now, I checked the forecast for this week's date night and noticed that it's going to be 44 and rainy, but it's going to have to be pretty rainy for me to want to stay out of it because it was so fun. So I think we're going to probably just bundle up and continue on with date night there. Another date night that we like to do in the spring and summer, we did this last year. We got a membership to a garden in our area. So there is the botanical gardens, but then there's another branch of it. It's a nature reserve out towards our area, and we would go on hikes and spend hours there. One of our favorite date night qualifications, or something that we look for in a date night location, if it's winter and we're going to have to be sitting inside, is live music. We have a place in our area that is kind of like a coffee shop vibe, and they have dinner, and it's all local food and usually some kind of acoustic band. Now, every once in a while, we will be able to get a day date in. If we do, one of our favorite things to do is just go exploring. So usually, if it's around 1 that we start, we'll go and we'll get some coffee. Then we'll hit up a few antique shops. If we can find a really cool downtown type area where we can walk from shop to shop or go to a restaurant. The qualification for date day, date night is things that just aren't fun with kids. So we've gone and browsed bookstores. Recently, we went out to dinner in St. Louis somewhere. I forget where we went to dinner. But afterwards, we found an international grocery store, and we had so much fun with that place. We started over in the produce. We went down every single aisle. It was our way of exploring international cultures right here in St. Louis. But again, that was something that was really fun without kids, surprisingly fun. Hikes, dangerous hikes, not really dangerous, but ones that if the kids were with me, I'd be terrified of them falling off a cliff or falling into a river or something. Luke and I will do things like that. Music shops, libraries, any kind of festival. Typically, we leave the house with absolutely no idea where we're going to go. We see what randomness we can stumble upon. All right, now I'm going to play the Q&A with my husband. I want to note that I had to cut out a lot due to my husband's joking responses and a ridiculous amount of laughter. You'll just have to know Luke. He is a jokester, and he has a hard time taking stuff like this seriously, but we had a lot of fun with it afterwards. He said that was really fun. So maybe we'll get him to do it again. So let's dive in.
What are they asking these questions on? Through
Instagram. There's a question and answer box on Instagram. Like, you just give them a question, and then, were y'all worried about having multiple kids with the busy schedule?
It was a slow progression. So
I was going to say.
It wasn't like...
I was going to say, we never had...
It's been slowly busy.
We've never had...
Probably should have been.
Yeah. We've never been married and had no kids, except for the first. Daniel, see, he makes everything so hard.
Case in point right here.
Yeah, this is how every podcast goes, even if... But yeah, we've never had a married life without kids pretty much. I mean, except for the first 12 months. But that was when we were just adjusting to...
And you've always been at home, so...
Yes, I've always been at home. But like, if you would have thrown 6 kids into the schedule we have now, that would have been crazy. But I didn't even start my blog until after we already had 4 kids. So we were already fully used to having a really busy schedule with kids.
9 months is pretty nice to get used to the idea of adding another person to the mix. So.
Yes. And we are also the type of people, I'm not really sure what personality type this makes us, but we don't think about things before they happen, really.
Just deal with the problem?
Yeah, but we really don't. Like, I know some people are details people. Like, if you're going to go on a trip with somebody, like let's say you're going to go on a trip with a couple of girls, there'll always be a few people in the group that are like, well, where are we going to park? And when we get there, are we allowed to bring 2 suitcases? I never think of those things. Like, we're not, I don't know, I don't think about, and sometimes definitely to a fault, like I won't have snacks when we're out and about. Like, I don't think about details. And so I think that I never have been worried about having another kid. I just assumed that it'd be fine. Have you all always dreamed of living on a farm, or did it just happen by fate? Actually, there's a lot of similar questions to this one. Luke, have you always dreamed of living on a farm?
I've always dreamed of living in a shoebox, so...
Not a farm.
This is awesome. This is better than any dream I ever had.
Well, I grew up on a farm, and so I don't know if I could have told you when I was 16 through 22-ish that I dreamed of living on a farm. As soon as I became an adult, I went back to wanting what I grew up with. But I didn't think as a kid, oh, I'll have a farm. It was probably just assumed, because that's what I grew up with, that you would live on acreage and have some kind of something to tend to. I come from people who like to be really busy, so you almost need something to take care of. Good answer.
Yeah, I think so. Well, my answer would also be, what I always wanted was no debt. Like, my goal was always to have a living space that required 0 debt.
So that's where your shoebox answer comes from.
That's where my shoebox answer comes from.
So now that is the case.
Yeah. And now that, yeah.
We can have our farm and our no debt too. What's been the hardest part about marriage? We won't answer that question. Your best, so you don't really have anything about the hardest thing about marriage? I've never really, people always say it's really hard. I've never found it to be that hard. Just to be completely honest.
What is it about us that...
Does it make it that hard?
You just don't say anything whenever you're mad. So I don't. I'm just like...
But here's the thing though. Usually that strategy kind of works because you aren't mad when you finally think that maybe you'll say something about it.
You have time to think.
You have time to realize that it was stupid. That's the thing. Yeah. I want to know about this dad doing the homeschool stuff. That's just mind-blowing emoji here.
It's more like unschooling, really. No.
Dang it.
With certain caveats. How do you say that word?
Caveats. Do we get anything yet? I don't know if we did.
I'm getting a lot out of this. This is fun. What are? Just picking stuff. Well, I've just been picking things that are interesting to me and then trying to put it on a kid's level by reading historical fiction and going over maps and any sidebars that come up through the reading of the book. Then I just like Google stuff or look up YouTube clips, or there's just so much information out there that you just take something and really run with it, you know?
It's something he's really good at. I think they're mostly wondering how a man could homeschool the kids.
Oh, well,
But
I mean, I like reading.
He really likes reading.
So it's like
He reads books that I was forced to read in high school. He reads them for fun. So that would be why it's... I think he's better at it than me.
I doubt that, but...
Maybe I would be better at like the math.
Keeping on track, I think.
Something like that.
Better.
But as far as engaging them, you're teaching something that you're interested in, so that does help.
But I like it when stuff happens naturally. Like something comes up and I'm like, oh, let's chase this down and learn about this. But I think you'd be better at sticking to like a routine and like.
I don't know though, because that was always exactly what I was excited about for homeschooling.
The same.
But what you're saying, what I found was that whenever I had all the kids and was trying to do the homeschool, that couldn't actually happen.
That's what I don't understand how people do. How ladies do is like, how do you keep so many plates spinning?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I had that question. Somebody asked that. How do you do homeschool with the toddlers and the babies? And here's the thing. I don't know.
Maybe is it? I've heard it's a guy thing that is like a single-minded, like I do one thing at a time.
I know
that's been really good for us is separating that and like giving us that time. You know, that's been really good.
I do believe women can multitask better, but still trying to care for a baby and a 2-year-old and then properly homeschool the older kids is just beyond my skill level too. Like I just don't know how people do that. I used to think it was...
I think a lot of it also is in our belief that they're going to learn just from living, you know?
Yes.
Every day.
I do believe that. But to have time to chase those tangents down with that dedicated school time is something that I feel like I was missing before.
Yeah, you didn't have time to actually enjoy it because there's so much going on.
That's right. Yeah, whereas if you just have a few older kids, you can do that. All right, recommendations on getting your spouse on board with the homestead lifestyle.
Make really yummy food.
There you go.
Huh?
Is that really what's done it? Well, we've decided
Don't do everything at once.
Yeah, so we've added a little bit at a time. Like, I just want to go get absolutely everything. But he finds that, he was telling me yesterday, that he actually kind of enjoys caring for the chickens and caring for the garden. And it's not something he would have picked to do. Probably.
No.
Without my...
But then also you give me time to do other stuff that I want to do. And I mean, that's a thing I learned to like since you like.
Well, and you can't... I guess my best piece of marriage advice is understanding who you're married to and not trying to change that, because nobody's going to be happy if you do that. And so if they like a certain thing, but you like homesteading, you can't expect them to be super excited about it. Just like things that he's interested in, I love doing with him because he enjoys it, but it's not something I'm going to stay up late at night reading about. So I might be up reading a farm book. He might be reading a hiking book. Sometimes we'll do the farm stuff and sometimes we'll go hiking.
Yeah.
That's really revolutionary.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like. Do you guys ever get tired of having the kids all day long, almost every day? Nope.
Nope. Love it.
We don't.
God's little blessings. Not testing or trying at all.
Never.
It's so easy.
Easy as can be.
Simple.
But we do go on a date night, like, just because it's a formality, not because we want to or, like, need to. Oh, man. Okay.
You didn't tell them about the haunted forest?
I didn't know if I should. Nope. Is Luke a tradesman of some type?
You could call it that. I like to call myself more of a song and dance man, really.
Luke is not a tradesman.
Clearly.
But he can do things. Lots of things.
I'm a tradesman at looking on YouTube.
Yeah, you can learn anything. That's the thing. You don't have to be something officially to be able to build a chicken coop.
This is another good marriage segment. I always feel like I can't really do it, and then Lisa's like, "Get up there and do it."
It's true.
Or not really in a
mean way.
like you can do it.
Like, I just
Obviously, you
have
can do
no
it.
doubt.
Yeah.
I'm just like, go do it.
And so she gives me the time and I do it.
Yep. And he's done lots of stuff.
Or she comes out and reads me the directions and helps me do it.
That happens sometimes too. Not a tradesman, but gets a lot of stuff done.
Would that be like the city? I mean,
Well, that's true. Yeah, you learn lots of stuff.
I learned a lot of stuff.
So
like,
he worked for the city for 13 years?
Yeah, so it was like sort of really general things. Just maintenance things. So
yeah,
I
that's...
definitely learned a lot from working at the city and
Yes.
the guys I worked with there.
That's true. A lot of old guys with a lot of experience. What's your favorite quality in each other? I actually had a lot of people ask this. What's your favorite thing about each other? That was asked probably 10 times in different forms.
I'd say, I think I like your toughness. That's what I like about you the most, I think.
Mine?
Well, that's just one thing I like.
Mine is funny, obviously, as I don't know how much laughter is going to be included in this. He's funny.
It's not my voice, I know that.
And he's also very good at if we get in a scuffle and we don't talk for a couple hours, he's usually the one that says, I'm sorry. So that's good, because if you had two people who would refuse to do that, then that would be a long, however many days it would take.
That'd be a long 50 years.
That'd be a long 50 years. That's true. And mine's just me being tough. That's all you got?
I could expound.
That's good enough. What's your favorite date night? Day to do together. Date night day. Date night / day. To do together. Ah, okay.
Catgivsk asks, what is your favorite date night?
Well, I think I talked about it in the beginning of this podcast. As of right now, it's our winery date night. I mean, that's new, but it is my favorite so far. What about you? Can you think of anything else?
Golly, I'm trying to blank on that. I think you're right.
It's just been really fun.
It's been so pretty there lately, and
it's just been. We've had 3 Fridays in a row of insanely beautiful views. Walking down vineyards, nobody's there. I mean, it's just been kind of magical. Tomorrow night's supposed to be in the 40s, so we're gonna bundle up.
I think we're gonna have to look for a second option.
Really? I'm thinking bundle up. It's just too great. Someone asked, what are the cons of living on the farm? I don't really feel like we live like on a farm just yet. We do have I guess at this point we acquired a lot of animals yesterday actually, but up until now we haven't had anything that we couldn't just have somebody stop by and care for. That would probably be the con, is that if you want to leave, you have to come up with somebody to care for everything. But
that was definitely the con.
That's your biggest hesitation.
That's what I couldn't see past until, I guess yesterday.
Well, yesterday. Well, what I've always said is that I don't want to plan our lives around like the things that we don't actually do. So normally we don't leave. Like we might leave 1 week out of the year to go on a vacation, and I don't want to plan my whole life around that, because normally we're just here with 6 kids, and having acreage for them to run on is more of a daily issue than a once a year vacation. Also, we don't live in the middle of nowhere. So we were thinking about buying some property a while back that was in the middle of nowhere, essentially. And that would have been another con for us. But we actually live really close to a nice town. So we don't really have that con so much. Okay, this is all you. Husband's perspective, going from 9 to 5 to kids / messes / etc. all day. Easy, hard, tips. Think back 2 years ago.
Well,
because I think it was a little bit of a mind blow at first, but now you're used to it.
Yeah, it's a big change, but it's been good. It definitely hasn't been easy.
No, it's not easier.
No, it hasn't been easy, and it was really enlightening, I guess, because I couldn't know what really went on until that.
Yeah, I remember for a few weeks, at least, probably a few months, you being like really just surprised at how much a mom gets done.
how you can get anything done and keep the kids alive really blows my mind. So,
and then once he came home too, you jumped in on all of the stuff, like all the stuff that usually was done while you were away that you didn't, I mean, not that you didn't know it went on, but like laundry and dishes and cleaning. I usually got that all done during the day.
And the funny thing is, like, it was the things that I would be like, aren't I a good boy? I did the laundry for you. And you're like, I've been doing this stuff every day with all the kids.
But now you don't.
Anyway.
Now it's just like part of both of our responsibilities. Yeah. It's not like.
But it was, one tip is I started to get freaked out and actually,
Overwhelmed.
Ron, overwhelmed. And Ron actually was like, well, she did this one at a time. She got used to this job one kid at a time. Yeah, you were thrown
into it 5 kids strong.
And so I think just
patience.
If you were going through this, just having patience with it and knowing that you'll get used to it. I mean, just like not thinking like it's going to stay so stressful the whole time.
And maybe like for the wife, not to think that he can just completely be able to do everything, considering that you did go from 1 to 5 slowly. Very slowly. Yeah. Because I was home for 10 years. 10 years? Yeah, pretty much. Before you came home.
You were like a journeyman homekeeper.
True. Is that what it is? 10 years? Okay.
What was another tip? Oh, another tip is getting in a routine. Like, really not just, it doesn't have to be super structured for us, but I personally needed a routine to feel like I'm getting through the day. Because I was so used to clocking in at 7 and eating lunch at 12 and coming home at 3:30.
It just felt like a vast open day that you had to do with it.
Once I got super stressed, and then once I realized that, it helped a lot.
And we do have a pretty good flow to our days.
We kind of have been tweaking it as needed, but yeah, keeping an eye on that schedule has been good.
Did you two always agree on the number of children you would have?
I think we always talked about having a lot of kids.
Yeah, we have always agreed on that. I think each time too, because people ask, and they're asking here, do you want more kids? And it's really just a 1-by-1 basis. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I think, once again, that 9 months really helps to get used to the new additions. And
yeah.
I don't know, we've had a lot of big families we admire, and that we saw the potential of how cool a big family could be. And so we always kind of wanted that, but now we're...
I mean, it's already a big family.
Kind of thinking about breaks.
We're thinking about breaks a little bit. Somebody asked, how did you learn how to construct things? Again, lots of YouTube and trial and error. That's pretty much that, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, I was zoning out. What?
They asked, how did you learn how to build things? YouTube trial and error.
Definitely.
And you said the confidence from your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to bring that back up.
This is the sound of me patting you.
Yeah, I needed that. What's his favorite sourdough recipe? I think I know the answer.
Oh, it was hands down the chicken pot pie. Wait, is that right?
Yeah, it's not still?
It's kind of a toss-up between that and just raw sourdough. I've been kind of just dipping my head in that sourdough and just getting in there.
Whatever.
So,
what's it really?
Does pizzas count?
Yeah.
I mean, the pizzas are... I think we're due for a za.
So, the best pizza is when chanterelles are... Well, or morels. Morels are...
The elusive
morel. But you can't find those as easily. But when chanterelles are available in August, that is probably my most memorable sourdough pizza. You?
I'd say it's way up there. I would rather have a morel one right now, but...
Okay, I had a lot of people asking me how I get you to eat healthy. Do you eat the sauerkraut and the kefir? How to get you on board with natural living? This is funny because he is more on board.
No. But you got me into it.
Okay, but it's been so long that I feel like you're the one who's more into it than me at this point.
Okay, but at the beginning, see, I thought it was cute because she wanted me to live longer. I remember this. Like the guys at work.
Wow, she really wants me to eat healthy.
The guys at work would make fun of me. Were like, "Oh yeah, what's your wife good in you?" I was like, "She wants you to croak off sooner."
She actually likes. She just put some. What you put in your lunchbox?
Well, you got regular white bread. What do you got, snack pack in there?
But now he's the one that's like scooping sauerkraut on everybody's plates. He literally just made himself a kefir smoothie. He's, he wants everybody to eat really healthy, and I can be a little bit more laid back about it.
That is funny how that turned.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never like
He was never hard. I know some people's spouses refuse to do it, and they have to make like special things for him. That's never been our story. He's always liked it. He's not picky.
I find it interesting to
add that to the list of things I like about you.
How it affects just how healthy eating can affect how you feel,
Yeah.
You just feel better.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to get them on board with it.
Yeah.
I mean, but they have to obviously do it first. So, okay. Oh, this one. How can wives get their husbands to see work and do it without being told? Is that not a good question?
What? How can
to see the work around the house and just do it without being told? Did I remind you of that comedian guy? Did I?
Which guy? I think we kind of talked about that whenever we were talking about tips about whenever I came home and stuff like.
Okay, just give him a little leeway. You can say things, but don't get...
It depends on your relationship.
That's true.
Like if you are...
When I first saw that question, I was thinking, you can't do that. But then I was thinking, no, we've gone through this. And I've said, but I just want you to see.
I get the question. I really do. You want... Like it's a way to feel loved.
For you to
do something without being asked is more like a way to show your wife love.
Yes, and if they're not seeing that,
but I can't read your mind,
and that's what usually the guys will say.
So,
but here's the thing, though. I think if you can have a respectful conversation about it, and that's what we've done.
Yeah.
And he can't get mad that you want to talk about it, but you also can't be like, I hate you, you lazy bum. Like, it has to be like, this is what I'm noticing. Can we work on this? Not like, fighting. Yeah. Okay, what are your Enneagram types? Luke's probably going to roll. Are you going to roll your eyes at this question? I
don't even have eyes to roll.
I get really excited about that kind of stuff, almost to a point of annoyance. Luke's never taken a personality test. I have declared him either a 4-wing 5 or a 5-wing 4. I don't know which.
I'm a dark-winged duck.
And then I think I'm a 3-wing 2, but I could be wrong. So there you go. I can never go through all of the personality tests. I get burnt out on them like halfway through. But that describes me best, I would say. Best and hardest part about working together day in and day out. I think we've covered a few of those.
What do we say? Getting in a schedule? Getting in a schedule,
making your expectations clear, talking.
That's good.
Our date nights have helped. Because
expectations.
We are able to talk without the kids, and we do that. Like at the beginning of each week, and even each day, he says, what are you thinking for the day? And we talk about that. Like, what do you need to get done? What do I need to get done? And then we can make sure that everything's aligned and nobody's like over here pouting in the corner that they're not getting done what they need to get done. And that's doesn't always happen, but it does really help. Okay, lots of people have wanted to know about this. Ways a husband can help during and his point of view on childbirth. Your point of view on childbirth.
I always just try to push a little bit with my mind during childbirth. Like I will kind of just stand.
I think what he's trying to say is he feels like you can't do anything.
No.
And
There's not really much I'm.
Well,
can do
and
here.
some people do wonder, did I have to convince you to do home birthing? Is that something that you've always been on board with?
I think anything you feel passionately about, I'm like, well, whatever. If you are into it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've laid out my case, and he's never been against it. And I had done some research, and so it was something we've always both felt comfortable with. So it hasn't been a point of contention for us. How do you not make each other crazy when you're always with them? We talked about that. We do give each other space. You said that I give you space to do what you want to do, and you give me space to do what I want to do.
Is that part of our personality types though too? Because
Yes.
we can like go off and
Yeah, we read there was
whatever.
we read a thing about our personality types, and it talked about how much space we give each other, and it's an unspoken thing that we've always done. And so I guess that's something that has worked out in our relationship. Like this evening up until now, Luke's been outside for the last 3 hours or so, and I've been in here, and I don't know, we're not around each other 24/7, even though we're both here. Dude, you're really snoring.
you gotta straighten him out a little bit.
I'm afraid I'll wake him up if I do that.
If you pull his butt up.
There we go. There you go, look at you.
I was playing him like an accordion the other night.
Oh, you were pushing him like...
He's like,
Oh, here's a good one, just because I know the answer. Do y'all ever take vacations or anniversary trips, just the two of you?
yes. We've done 2, right?
We've done...
2 that I remember.
Have we just done 2?
Like
I guess we have just done 2. I feel
Yellowstone
like we did it more often.
and
Yeah,
the
we
West
took
Coast.
a week-long trip together when I was 30 weeks pregnant with Jude, and when I was 30 weeks pregnant with Micah, and we missed Daniel. Why did we do that?
Why did we do that?
I guess because we had 5 kids we'd have to find a babysitter for.
Yeah.
So it's getting harder. But when I was 30 weeks pregnant with Jude, we went to San Francisco, where we flew in, and then we drove up the coast on Highway 1 or 101.
Both, but one was
The one closer to the coast. We went north, almost to the Oregon coast, and just explored the Rocky West Coast. That was fun. And then when I was 30 weeks pregnant with Micah, which was 3 years ago this summer, we went to Yellowstone National Park for an entire week. So we'd like to do that again. Probably when Daniel's not nursing, we could do that again. When were you married? We were married 12 and a half years ago. I was 22 and Luke was 23. So some people have asked too, like, what did you have to get used to with being married? Or what did you have to give up being married? I feel like I've never been an adult not married. So I didn't have really anything to give up or things I was used to doing that I didn't get to do. I pretty much went from living with my parents, going to college, and then being married. All right. Maybe
Yeah, that's tough because I feel like all I did was gain. I didn't give anything up.
No. I had several ask about how did you feel about quitting your job? Are you going to get another job when the kids grow up? Things along that nature. How did you feel about coming home and helping with the blog business? And some people see you as a stay-at-home dad. Do you see yourself as a stay-at-home dad? I never have. I feel like it's a team effort, everything we do.
I think, being the one that actually physically, actually makes the money, which you are. So I don't know if that is what qualifies as, as a stay-at-home dad.
There are things that you do for the blog. Like you don't do the back end stuff, but just like yesterday, I was having a look at that collaboration and I said, what tools do we need? What are we going to build? And then today you're building the raised beds. That's going on the vlog. Yeah. And I still do so much like with cooking and, I always have Daniel with me.
That's true. I don't want to call myself a stay-at-home dad strictly for the fact that it takes I'm less than a stay-at-home dad for sure.
I know
those dudes are probably killing it way more than me.
I didn't really mean it like that. But I just feel like...
I don't want to take any credit from you.
No, I just feel like everything we do, or at least we try to make it a team culture and not like...
Not just you and
I don't want to feel like...
It's a team.
It's a team. But
There's
it
no
is. Like like I'll take care of the kids while you do this, and then you'll take care of the kids while I do that, or we'll all do something together.
There's a lot of tag teaming going on.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's a stay-at-home dad dynamic.
Well,
really.
yeah, being that we're both here, it's not like you go to an office to do your work.
Yeah.
You don't close yourself up in the office or nothing.
No, I did that today, but I never do.
No.
I did actually do it today, though, because I was updating something I needed to just get it
It might be
done.
like stay-at-home dad one day of the week, maybe.
If that.
I mean, maybe that would work.
Like, that would be probably smart, but...
But
I never wanted to do that, though. That's the thing.
That was never really the goal.
Like, I could leave this house and go get some office space and get a lot more done, but that was never the goal. The goal was to do something together. And so I felt like you quit your job and you came home to another business/job. Maybe it's sometimes more seen as...
It felt really surreal, though, when it first went down.
It did, because you went to that
Very
same place
surreal.
for 13 years.
Yeah, I was so
Every
used to
day.
that pattern. And I don't know. I guess it's been really awesome, but like now I'm like looking forward to talk to the mailman and whoever comes around. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, can I give you a hug?
Especially now.
No,
But
for
don't
sure.
give him a hug.
I can't give him a hug. I'm really looking forward to being able to hug the mailman again.
He isn't. He's like, I heard mailman. All right, well, there is a lot more questions, and maybe I will just revisit this and we'll do a part 2. Maybe I'll ask for more questions, but I probably should wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this first Q&A with my husband, and I will see you in episode 35 of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast.